Hey everybody and welcome back. So today I want to do a walkthrough and setup of the Vivo X200 Ultra. So we'll pretty much go through just the basic setup that you greeted with when you first open up your phone, and then we can go through some of the Google services that you need to set up, and then I'll show you the hectic amount of bloatware that this phone comes included with, and then how to disable some of the Chinese stuff. So let's get into it. Right, so you'll be greeted by the Origin OS. So normally you would select this and it would then bring you to a menu that would ask what language you prefer. This is hidden there. So there is a decent amount of languages. But we are going to go with English. Set up through there. So agree to everything, add a network, unlock method, we can choose fingerprint, prompt just telling you that you can't forget this password. If you do, it will be a mission. And this is an ultrasonic, so literally a couple of taps and it will have the finger registered. So this will be the service recommendations that they give you. So location, unknown number, online identification, lock screen posters, AI advisors. So some of this stuff is Chinese only. So the AI advisor system is in Chinese. So what you can do when you get to this section is you can kind of go through and see what you want and disable it straight away. What I do is I just go through with the settings, and sorry, let's just stay there while I talk. Go through with the settings, and then once you're in the phone and you start removing all of this stuff, you can actually individually start disabling some of the stuff. So this screen is asking to import data. So we have options for Vivo Cloud if you have a Vivo account, so you're moving from a previous Vivo phone. We have from the Apple and any other Android device or another Vivo. So either the cloud, Apple, other Android device, or a physical Vivo phone that you can copy your data from. So I will not be importing any data today. We can select your color adjustments, noting that default has been calibrated by Zeiss. So we'll leave it at that. They know what they're doing. I'll be using the full screen gestures. You can do classic 3 sections, or you can do a navigation key. Gestures, definitely with this phone. And that is it. So we're already in the phone. I'm just going to remove that, the AI advisor. So what we first want to do is sort out the Google services. So what we're going to do is, so with this keyboard, as you can see that layout, that's not conducive for a great time. So you have to kind of tap around till you get to this. Don't worry, the first thing I do is install Gboard from Google because I cannot deal with that keyboard. So we've just enabled the Google Basic Service Management. You can see Google Play Services is installed. So all we need to do is go to the V App Store. I don't know what that is, but let's not turn it on. And we can search Play Store. There's the Google Play Store, install. Cool. Once that's done, you're going to be prompted to log in. Great, so we have now logged in. Just give it a couple of seconds. Backup, yada yada. Allow. This is going to load, so I'm going to install Gboard. Chrome, because the default browser is literally all in Chinese, even though the phone is set to English. So I actually ran into an issue with WhatsApp. So whoever uses WhatsApp, installed the app, got to the screen where you enter in your phone number, and it didn't want to send the verification code. So I've gone through, so what China phones do is they have permissions on lockdown pretty much for all apps. So what you have to do is clone the WhatsApp. So there's a feature in the phone where you can clone your app in the settings. And what that does is just create a separate app. You log in through that, and that, weirdly enough, sends the verification code. And once you've done that, then you can just open up the original app, and it says you've already verified, and then delete the cloned app, and then your WhatsApp worked. So it's quite a weird workaround, but yeah, it is what it is. Alright, so Gboard was installed. So the easier way to do this is just to click on Gboard. App clone. So we're going to select Enable Gboard. I don't like the security input. Select Gboard there. And that is that. Done. Thank you very much, because that keyboard, the Vivo's basic keyboard, is atrocious. What did I want to do? I wanted to go and set passwords. So this is the setting if you want to autofill from Google, which, let's be honest, is much better than what's going on here. So that is done. So at least when you go into an app, you can autofill your username and password from Google directly if you have that set up. Okay. Let's start from the top. So mobile network, there is no eSIM. There's also no SIM card in this phone, but there is no eSIM settings. It does have a dual SIM card, which is great. You've got your usual Bluetooth stuff. So we've got more connections, VPN, private DNS. We've got Android Auto here by default, which needs an update. Oh, it's disabled. Update. That does work flawlessly. I've already used this. Even in the OnePlus 13T that I tested, there were reports from OnePlus Chinese phones, with the Chinese ROM, sorry, that don't have Android Auto. It actually does. It works perfectly fine, and out of the box it was already installed. So this just needed to be updated. Hey man, can you go? No. Never mind. There we go. Connect vehicle. You can start Android Auto while locked. Music starts automatically. Everything works as intended. And we've got the usual NFC, all of that. So the notification and status bar. So we've got Origin Island, which is the Apple version of Dynamic Island. But the only problem with this is a lot of the apps and stuff that it supports, so basic system apps like timers, but the actual apps itself, like if you do Uber Eats or Uber e-hailing, that won't show here because it only supports Chinese apps. They've also got a great in theory feature, which is the drag and go. So I'm pretty sure you've seen Honor's implementation of this, where you're dragging something and then the little window pops up to the side and you can pop it through to WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. This does that in theory, but with Chinese phones. So the only thing you can do that's of any like relevance is copy and paste to Notepad. Otherwise everything else is pretty much useless, unfortunately, because that's a great concept. I love that. Yeah, and then we're just doing notification stuff. So the second issue with these phones are the delayed notifications. So the fix to this is under mobile network settings. So under mobile network settings, when you have a SIM card installed, there is a feature that says the priority, what would you like the priority of your mobile network information to be? So more for background, smart, or more for foreground. So if by default it's in the smart settings, so what you're going to have to do is set it to the foreground, so foreground applications. That is the one fix. The second fix, so most apps will start running normally with notifications. The second one is this. This is important because Chinese phones are super aggressive with battery management. You'll see everything is under smart control. So for instance, if we had an app, which I don't have here because I don't have WhatsApp on this now, But let's say we had TikTok, but this is Chinese TikTok. But let's say that's our TikTok that we've installed now. It'll generally be under background power smart, so intelligently like stop everything running from the background. If this was my WhatsApp and then my notifications were super important to me, I would then set this to the high background power usage. So it would then treat it like any other phone treats an app. Just if there's apps or stuff or notifications, sorry, they're coming through, it would then come through as normal, and we're not going to put anything in hibernate or stop it from getting any stuff. Great, so that's that. So then you've got the app sections where I spoke about the app clone, so you can clone your apps. So if you want to be one of those people, where you've got one Facebook for something and then another Facebook for something else, or one WhatsApp for something, one WhatsApp for something else, you can be dodgy and go do that there. Alright, then you've got your normal fingerprint, face unlock. The face unlock does work great even in low light. I've had no issues with this. RAM and storage. So it's got a funny feature called the extended RAM option. So pretty much if you run out of RAM, I don't know how you're going to run out of RAM on 12 gigs, but you can extend it to plus 12 gigs. So because it's got UFS 4.1, it's pretty quick with the instructions that it sends to the storage. So it will be still slower than your actual RAM, because RAM is fast and it's connected directly to the SoC, pathways to the SoC. So, but I mean, if you're in a pinch and you're doing some sort of editing, as I said, I don't know what you would do that would be able to kill 12 gigs of RAM on this phone, but you at least have that option. Blue AI is like Google's AI built into their phones. This is completely useless on this phone. It is all in Chinese. If you query something, you can say, please can you respond in English, and it will respond. But to be quite honest, it's just a mission to use. So what you would do is just go to your Play Store and download Google Gemini, and then you sort it from there. I don't use the wallet and payment section because you can get your own. Sorry, let me just fix that drawer. Lock screen. We actually didn't even cover this. So the system style, these are all the colors that we can set. Choose from wallpaper colors. You've got your always on display. You can turn it on, I guess. This has quite a couple of always on display options. I must be honest, I don't really use always on display because I wear a watch, so I don't want to be glancing at my phone when, you know, the watch is going to be telling me what I need to know. But lock screen style, system style. Origin cover is going to use AI stuff to give you generated responses on your lock screen. It's going to be in Chinese, so we're going to leave that as a no. And then Origin Play is the default music player. So then we've got their themes. More theme styles will just take you to the Vivo theme store. A lot of that's in Chinese as well. And then the lock screen. So, I mean the app icons. So this is great because this allows you to completely change the look and feel of all your icons. If you want circles, squircles, icon size, large and small, show or disable icon names, which you wouldn't do because this is a Chinese phone, so you need to familiarize yourself with the default apps before you go and do that. And then redraw icons. That pretty much just makes some apps, or sorry, some icons look better if they don't actually fit into a circle or squircle that you've made. So this one is dynamic effects. So if you don't want like blurring, or if you don't want so many animations to go on, you can turn it off completely. One feature which I think is quite cool, because normally in any phone you would want to enable the developer settings to do this, is the transition animations. So this is how quick or how smooth apps open and close. You can actually make this faster. So to give you an example, comfortable. We have to enable it first. Apply. Comfortable. So it's, you see how slow that transition is? Now if we do efficient, boom, boom. Look at that. I love that. So that's a great feature to add. For yet a bit buried, I must be honest, but it's better than going through the developer settings and all of that. Oh, then we've got the screen on and off animation. So This is very reminiscent of the Pixel style. So when you, that, amazing small things, huh? We've got USB insertion animation. So when you plug in your USB to charge your phone, you obviously have your different animations for that, which is pretty cool. Charging animation, same thing. You can change. That's cool. There's quite a bit of options here. Whatever tickles your fancy. We've also got the face recognition animation. So at the top there, when you unlock your phone, what is it going to do while it's trying to read your face? And this one is also quite cool. So that default lock screen icon, horrible. I'd rather just do the finger one, because that, actually even that one. So what happens is when it's off and you move the phone, you can see it pops up there. And you, from the lock screen, just unlock the phone. So home screen style, standard, that's not with the drawer, so you have to swipe left and right and all your apps are on your same screen. Don't like that. Drawer style is my favorite. Apply, switch. So now we actually have a drawer, which is amazing. So the nice thing about this is you can just go through and literally uninstall all the crapware. It'll take you about a good 10 minutes, but you just go through and delete pretty much all the stuffs with Chinese names on it. The only thing you wouldn't want to delete would be your VApp store, because a lot of the times if you have a smart band, for instance, like the Samsung bands, you would need to install the Samsung wearables app from the Chinese store and the Samsung wearables app from the Play Store. That is the only way those watches work. It has been finicky in the past where some have reported that it doesn't work at all. I know that the Google wearables, so anything Google wearable like Wear OS, does not work on these phones. So that's like quite a big thing for a lot of people. I mean, the watch, it depends what you want to do with your watch, but pretty much a lot of the watches that you get for these, like the Vivo Watch 5, the biggest downside is, yes, they maybe have 20 days battery life, but when you get a notification, you cannot respond to them. So they're like dumb watches. And so a lot of the watches that you would use, like your Samsung Wear OS watches or your Pixel watch, you would get a notification, you can respond, and it's got a full screen keyboard, and it's very much integrated into the phone. So these phones don't even have that, even with their proprietary watches that they come out with. I'm not sure why. I don't think the Chinese market is super interested in stuff like that, but yeah, not a lot of options there. Cool, so that is pretty much the settings. So we've got the drop down there. So we've covered the two basic things. So installing or enabling the Google Basic Services, installing the Play Store. We've got Chrome. So once that's done, the other question I got was wallet. So this is their wallet. It doesn't work. So what we'll do is we'll go through and install Google Wallet, which works perfectly fine. I've tested a lot of banking apps as well. Banking apps work perfectly fine as well. So just to show you. Cool, that's your wallet. All you do is you add your card. I'm not going to do that because it's going to show my cards that are attached to my Google account. And that is it. So pretty much in a nutshell, there is a lot of Chinese stuff that you're going to have to deal with this phone. There is a lot of stuff that you can disable, like the AI advisor. Remember in the first screen that we were at when we first set up the phone, there was AI advisor and all of that stuff. So if you really wanted to, you could go there and just disable it. But just to show you, a lot of the stuff can be, there's an update, yay. A lot of the stuff can be disabled. So that's what we have if we disable all of the Chinese stuff. It's pretty minimalistic. See, top news came back because it re-updated. But yeah, so let's just go through. So they make it pretty easy if you want to clean up your home screen after you've switched to the draw style. You can literally just select all and remove. And it's as simple as that. Great, so that is it for the Vivo X200 Ultra. So if you have any questions or if you want me to test anything, please drop me a comment down below. I will be more than happy to test out or answer any questions that you might have. So I'll have this phone for a bit, so I'm not going to be selling this anytime soon. There is really nothing better than this. And in terms of testing, I want to get my hands on other Ultra phones and maybe do comparisons, especially with the iPhone 16 and when the 17 comes out now. It will be a great benchmark just to kind of test how good the iPhones are. Not that they compete with this because this is an Ultra phone, but yeah, we can only see. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.